Imagine the sun-drenched Mediterranean, a brilliant blue expanse that for centuries has been a crossroads of culture, trade, and unfortunately, conflict. We often picture grand galleons and heroic captains, but there's a darker, more complex story hidden beneath the waves. This is the story of the Ottoman Empire's mighty navy, a force powered not just by wind and ambition, but by the sweat and blood of thousands of men who weren't free. These were the slave fleets of the Sultan. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the Mediterranean was a battleground. The Ottoman Empire, at the height of its power, clashed with European naval forces like the Spanish, the Venetian, and the Knights of St. John. To man their massive galleys, the Ottomans needed a constant supply of manpower. While they employed paid soldiers, a significant portion of their crews were made up of slaves. Who were these men? They came from all corners of the world, touched by Ottoman power. Many were prisoners of war, captured in naval battles or land campaigns across Europe. Others were seized during coastal raids by corsairs, the infamous Barbary pirates operating from North African ports under Ottoman authority. Villages along the coasts of Italy, Spain, and even as far as Iceland lived in fear of these raids. A person could be a fisherman one day and a galley slave the next. Their life irrevocably changed. Life aboard an Ottoman galley was a vision of hell. These ships were essentially floating prisons. Hundreds of men, called forzados, were chained to their benches, sometimes for years on end. They were packed in tight, exposed to the blistering sun and the freezing sea spray. Their world was reduced to the rhythmic pull of the oar, a grueling, monotonous task that broke both body and spirit. They rode under the constant threat of the whip, their overseers pacing the central gangway, ensuring the pace never slipped. The stench of sweat, filth, and despair was overwhelming. Food was meager often, just hardtack biscuits. And water-and disease was rampant. For most, this was a death sentence, a slow, agonizing end, far from home. But history is rarely so simple. The Ottoman system, while brutal, was also strangely pragmatic. In a world defined by rigid hierarchies, the Ottoman military offered a twisted, improbable path to social mobility, even for a slave. It wasn't common, but it wasn't impossible for a man to break his chains and rise through the ranks. Skill, courage, and a bit of luck could change a man's fate. A slave who showed aptitude in navigation, gunnery, or leadership might be noticed. He could be freed and given a position of responsibility. This brings us to one of the most remarkable stories from this era, the story of Uluk Ali Pasha. His story begins not with a grand title, but with a simple name, Giovanni Galeni. He was born around 1519 in a small village in Calabria, in southern Italy. As a young man, he was studying for the priesthood when his life took a dramatic turn. In 1536, he was captured by the famous Barbary corsair, Harridan Barbarossa. The young Italian scholar was now a slave, chained to an oar in a pirate galley. For years, Giovanni endured the brutal life of a He rode, he suffered, but he also observed. He learned the ways of the sea, the tactics of naval warfare, and the languages of his captors. He was intelligent and resilient. The exact circumstances of his conversion to Islam are debated by historians. Some accounts say he converted after a fellow slave's prayer for a lottery win was answered. Others suggest it was a pragmatic choice, a way to escape the horror of the benches and forge a new life. Whatever the reason, he embraced Islam, took the name Uluk Ali, and his fortune began to change. His captors recognized his talent. He was no longer a rower but a soldier, a corsair. He quickly proved himself to be a brilliant and ruthless naval commander. He was daring in his raids, cunning in his strategy, and successful in capturing ships and treasure. His reputation grew, and with it, his wealth and influence. He rose through the corsair ranks in Algiers, eventually becoming its Beylerbey, or Governor-General. He was no longer a slave. He was a ruler, a powerful figure in the Ottoman Mediterranean. His defining moment came in 1571 at the Battle of Lepanto, one of the largest naval battles in history. The Ottoman fleet faced a massive Christian coalition known as the Holy League. Uluk Ali commanded the left wing of the Ottoman formation. The battle was a disaster for the Ottomans. Their center and right wings were crushed, their commander-in-chief was killed, and most of their fleet was captured or destroyed. It was a catastrophic defeat. But on the left flank, Al-Ukali's story was different. Through superior seamanship and tactical genius, he outmaneuvered his opponent, the Genoese, Admiral Giovanni Andrea Doria. While the rest of the Ottoman fleet was disintegrating, Ulu-Gali managed to hold his squadron together. More than that, he captured the flagship of the Knights of Malta, a major prize. Seeing that the battle was lost, he made a difficult but brilliant decision. Instead of fighting to the last man, he executed a masterful fighting withdrawal, saving around 40 galleys and extricating them from the disaster. He was the only Ottoman commander to return to Constantinople with his ships and his honor intact. When he arrived in the capital, he presented the captured Maltese banner to Sultan Selim II. In a court reeling from the devastating news of Lepanto, Ulu-Ghali's success was a ray of light. The Sultan was immensely impressed. He bestowed upon Ulu-Ghali the highest honors. He was given the name Klik, meaning sword, and was appointed Caput Pashetha, Grand Admiral of the entire Ottoman Navy. The former Italian slave, Giovanni Galley, was now Klik Pasha, the supreme commander of the sea forces of the Mahtist Empire in the east. His task was monumental: to rebuild a navy that had been all but annihilated. And rebuild it he did. With incredible speed and efficiency, Klik Pasha oversaw the construction of a new fleet. He introduced innovations in ship design, moving towards larger, more heavily armed sailing ships that could compete with the European galleons, rather than relying solely on oar-powered galleys. Within a year of Lepanto, the Ottoman Navy was back at sea, as powerful as ever. It was a testament to the empire's resources and, more importantly, to the administrative and military genius of its new Grand Admiral. He famously told the Sultan's vizier, "Give me the anchors, the sails, and the rigging, and I will build you a fleet of ships from the wood of these hills." Klik Pasha continued to serve the Ottoman Empire with distinction for many years, leading campaigns and securing Ottoman dominance in the eastern Mediterranean. In 1574, he recaptured Tunis from the Spanish, a major strategic victory. He died in 1587, a wealthy and respected old man, leaving behind a legacy as one of the greatest naval commanders in Ottoman history. He even commissioned a magnificent mosque complex in Istanbul, the Klik Pasha Mosque, which stands to this day as a monument to his incredible life. The story of Klik Pasha is a stark reminder of the complexities of history. It doesn't erase the brutality of the system that enslaved him and countless others, but it shows that even in the most oppressive circumstances, human agency, talent, and ambition can forge the most unexpected paths. His journey from a Calabrian village to the command of the Sultan's fleet is a testament to an era where identities were fluid and destinies could be violently unmade and spectacularly remade. It's a story of survival, ambition, and the astonishing rise of a slave who became a master of the seas. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. We'll see you in the next video.